Transfer Tuesday is a money movement that was started by Mary over at Pennies Not Perfection with the idea of finding money in your budget and allocating it towards your financial goals. This could be paying off debt or saving for a house, a car, or whatever it is. Hey guys, welcome to Budget with the July Dreamer. My name is Miranda, and on this channel I talk all things personal finance, specifically sharing tips on how to save, how to invest, as well as how to budget. If these topics interest you, then hit that subscribe button as well as give this video a like, as it truly does help out my channel. So in today's video I will be sharing the fifth Transfer Tuesday for the month of August. I cannot believe that today is the last day of August and tomorrow we're already in September. I honestly feel like August has actually flown by. Normally I feel like August is one of those, like, the longest month after February like the longest month ever, but this time around I took a different view on it and it just seemed to have flown by. I'm not disappointed that it's over. I am happy for the things that happened in August, the experiences that I got to have, and I'm now looking forward to September. So before I get into today's Transfer Tuesday, I want to do a recap on my emergency fund, what has happened in the month of August, and then I also want to touch on some of the new things that we'll be seeing on my channel in the next couple of weeks. I'll try it out in September, see how that goes, and if it's something that I think I can commit to, then I will continuously do that on my channel. So I have my trusted notepad here where I have written down some notes, because not all of us can keep everything in our heads to remember what to say on video. So yeah. So the first Transfer Tuesday, I mentioned that I only had £15 in my budget because I'm somebody who gets paid sometime in the middle of the month. So for me, the beginning of the month is like closer to the end of the month, you know, where you don't really have money. That's what it's like for me then. So for the beginning of the month I only had £15, and that's what I put towards my my emergency fund. And I think it's really important to remember that you don't have to have a lot of money to participate in Transfer Tuesdays. You could have £1, $1, £5, $5, whatever your currency, and still participate in Transfer Tuesdays. The idea is to search for money within your budget, and if there is no money in your budget, maybe start a side hustle, or, you know, pick up extra shifts and then use that money towards your financial goals. So that's what I do, at least. So that was what I did for the first Transfer Tuesday. Found money in my budget, £15. For the second Transfer Tuesday, it was around the time that I was getting paid. It was the week that I was getting paid, so I was able to put a little bit more. So for the second one, I was able to put £250 towards my emergency fund. Again, you would notice that my focus all of August, and I think for the last couple of months, has been towards my emergency fund. But for August I had an extra goal where I wanted to put at least £800 towards my travel that I did in the month of August. So I was able to put £250 towards my emergency fund for the second week of August. For the third week of August, I actually did not have anything for the third week of August, purely because I was focusing on the holiday, but also because I felt that I couldn't find any money. But I realized I do have an account which I call my whatever account. So this is, I put about £200 to £250 every single month in that account, and it really does not have a purpose, so to speak. But I was like, well, why put that £250 in that account when I could just move that over to my emergency fund? Because I am trying to save up £10,000 before the end of the year, and that's what I did. So initially I did not have anything, but then I looked around in my budget and realized I actually do have that money. So for the third week, we're counting, I did put £250, even though it was a couple of days after the Transfer Tuesday. Then the fourth week, which was last week, I was able to put £75 towards my emergency fund again, and this money came from the leftover. So in my fixed expenses, I found myself with an extra £60 that I did not pay. That was budgeted to pay towards my electricity, but I forgot that I changed my electricity and gas, but I forgot that I'd changed the frequency of when I pay, so I didn't have to pay anything for the month of August. I'll be paying something starting the 1st of September, which is tomorrow. So I forgot completely about, so I had that 60 pounds, and then I always over budget than under budget every single month. So the overage that I had for all of my fixed expenses ended up giving me almost like 79 pounds, but then I just chose to take 75 pounds from that overage and put that towards my emergency fund. So that really actually boosted my emergency fund. As you know, in the 3rd week I did end up having to touch my emergency fund because I did have a couple of personal emergencies that came up, which meant I needed to dip into my emergency fund. And I did mention in my, I think my 3rd or my 4th transfer Tuesday video how that made me upset, but I also remembered the reason why I do have an emergency fund, why I'm saving for an emergency fund, is so that when emergencies do come up, I can just cash flow them using the savings that I've put on the side, as opposed to going into debt to cover whatever emergencies that come up. So I was happy that I was able to do that, to cash flow the emergency, but I was sad that I was actually spending the money. For some reason, I feel I get this excitement when I save money, but when I have to use it, I'm like, do I really want to? So I always try to avoid it. I always try to just run it through my budget if I can, but this was quite a big lump sum that I had in my account, so I ended up just using my emergency fund to cover that personal emergency. So in total for the month of August, I have been able, actually, have I said for this week, sorry, before I do that, for this week I have been able to find 25 pounds in my emergency fund. And you won't believe where this money has come from, but I put 150 pounds as a budget for eating in and out. So eating in and out is my, when I order food and it gets delivered to my home, or when I go to a restaurant, that is what I call my eating in and out budget. And I had budgeted to spend 150 pounds, and one of my goals for this month was to stick to that, because for the last 2 months, ever since restaurants, cafes and what have you opened in the UK, I have been blowing my budget. But this month I have been committed to ensuring I don't blow my budget, and I make sure that I stick within the budget. And you won't believe, but I didn't spend all of it, and I'll share that when I do my budget closer, which I will probably do this week and share it on my channel next week. And I was actually surprised. So I was able to take 25 pounds from my eating in and out budget and move that towards my emergency fund, which has made me really happy. It's good to see that I'm retaining control in certain areas. I'm not overspending, so that was really good. So yeah, so now that I have shared the overall of how much I've added to my emergency fund, the total that I've added is 615 pounds. My goal for the month was to add 500 pounds to my emergency fund, and I'm glad that I've obviously surpassed that by 115 pounds, which is really great. It makes me really happy. So this means that I'm now looking at my computer, looking at my tracker. So this now means that I have saved 6,600 pounds, which is 66% of my total target of 10k by the end of the year. I'm really happy about this. And looking at the tracker, and I'll put a screenshot of this in this video, but I am sad that I've had to dip into my emergency fund twice, and again it's same amount, if you would believe it, same amount that I've had to dip into. So back in May I dipped into my emergency fund and withdrew 1,800, and then this month of August, and I've done the same thing and I've withdrawn 1,800 again. I think I would be, I think, almost 3,000 ahead if I hadn't, but emergencies in life do happen, and you need to know when to dip in and when to cash flow it and when to just find other means. And I think it's very important on a personal financial journey that you are disciplined, you understand what do you classify as an emergency. Going on holiday is not an emergency. Your car breaking down is an emergency. Your boiler breaking down is an emergency. So you need to be careful and understand what you classify as an emergency, because it's very easy once you dip in once to continuously dip into your emergency fund. So for me, I think this is why I have my whatever account, because I think if I wanted anything I'll just dip into that one. But I've set up quite a good system, I think, that really works for me. My budgeting really works for me, and I know where I can dip into if I need extra money. And normally it's not my emergency fund or my whatever account. I normally have extra money across my accounts, and I'll just dip into there. And I do have a blog as well, so that makes me side hustle income, which I'm really appreciative of. So yeah, so this is all I actually wanted to share with respect to the update on my emergency fund. I have 6,600 now saved, which makes me very happy. I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I do have a couple of updates for the upcoming months, things that I want to give a try out for the month of September and see if that will work out for me. So the first one is tracking my weekly expenses. So I do have a budget book where I do this. I write down every single day what I do. I do have a tracker that I created, but I have decided I'm gonna try and use Mary's weekly expense tracker. So Mary of Pennies Not Perfection. I do love the weekly tracker that she has on her Etsy shop. I'll leave it in the description bar below, and I'm gonna try use that, and I'll be doing weekly expense tracking. I'll show you how I do my weekly expense tracking using her tracker. So that's one thing that I will be trying out in the month of September, and which might mean I'll have extra videos, but also it might mean some videos might get replaced by these weekly tracking, and I'll try and do these weekly tracking, share them on a Sunday. So we'll see how that gets on. Then I also want to start doing no spend days. I really love watching Tasha at Mind Your Money talking about how no spend days. Even Erin talks about no spend days, as well as Marlene. I will leave all of their links in the description bar below. I do love seeing how they are tracking their no spend days. It really makes me happy, because I do have no spend days as well, where I just make that conscious effort not to spend any money, but I actually do not track it per se. But if I was to look in my budget book, I would see, oh, okay, I didn't spend anything on the 16th, on the 17th, or what have you. And I do love that. So I will be doing that as well, and I will be sharing that probably in my final Transfer Tuesday video, or in my budget closeout, to just highlights how many no spend days I had. But we shall see how that works out. Again, this is just right now in the planning phase. As we enter September tomorrow, I may think of a way I want to do it, or maybe do it a little bit differently. I'm not sure yet, but we shall see. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is my financial goals, my other financial goals. So for the Transfer Tuesdays, I have been truly 100% focused on funding my emergency fund, but I do have other financial goals, and my other financial goals are investing more, which for the month of August I've actually done that, and I'm truly happy that I've been able to do that. You know, it's really made me happy to increase how much I put towards my investments. I started off with £50, then I increased that to £100, and now I am putting about £500. And this month, the month of August, I was able to put a lot more than I normally do, and that has actually made me really happy. And I will talk about that in my August budget closeout video. So yep, this is all I wanted to share in my Transfer Tuesday video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you're new to my channel, stick around, check out what other videos I have. Like I said, I do Transfer Tuesday videos every Tuesday. I do investing videos where I share my Vanguard portfolio as well as my retirement portfolio. I share net worth updates. I share budget with me videos, and then just other financial videos. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.